Take a deep breath. Right now, you're probably feeling like the ground beneath you has been pulled away. The person you once shared your world with feels distant or maybe even gone, and it hurts in ways you can't easily explain. You're constantly asking yourself, how did this happen? What could I have done differently? That sense of loss, confusion, and powerlessness can feel like it's taking over everything. But I want you to know something. This is not the end. It's a turning point. Most men, when they lose someone they care about, get caught in a spiral. They start chasing. They reach out repeatedly. They replay old conversations, cling to every memory, and focus all their energy on trying to fix something that's already slipped through their fingers. But that only pushes things further away. Because the truth is, trying to hold on tighter to someone who is pulling away never works. What does work is a shift in focus. Instead of desperately trying to get her back, shift your energy toward getting you back. This is where everything begins to change, not by trying to manipulate the outcome or say the perfect thing, but by stepping into your own power again. When you rebuild from the inside out, you naturally become the kind of person who attracts connection, respect, and love. Not through force, but through presence, through calm confidence, through a deep sense of self-worth. And that's what this process is about. Yes, she might come back, but whether she does or not, you're going to come out of this stronger, wiser, and more grounded than ever before. Because when you stop making her the center of your world, you make space for something even greater, your own transformation. And that's where your real power lies. When you feel like you're losing someone you love, it's natural to want to hold on tighter. The fear of losing her makes you want to reach out constantly, explain yourself, apologize for things you don't, even fully understand, and convince her to stay. But in doing so, you may unknowingly fall into one of the biggest traps, acting out of neediness. And while your intentions may come from a genuine place, the impact of that behavior is often the opposite of what you want. It doesn't pull her closer. It pushes her further away. Neediness shows up when your sense of self-worth becomes dependent on her validation. It's when you text her repeatedly even after she hasn't responded, or call just to hear her voice, or constantly ask if things will go back to how they were. You may think you're fighting for the relationship, but what you're actually doing is signaling insecurity and emotional instability. And that's not attractive. It's overwhelming. On the other hand, vulnerability is something entirely different. Vulnerability is rooted in strength. It's when you allow yourself to feel deeply but express those feelings calmly, without expecting someone else to fix them. Saying something like, "I miss you," without expecting a response is vulnerable. Admitting you're hurting without placing blame is vulnerable. Vulnerability invites connection because it's real and honest, but it never begs. The key is to express your feelings from a grounded place. Don't pretend you're unaffected, but also don't let your emotions run your behavior. Show her that you're capable of loving deeply, but that you don't need her to feel whole. When you approach her from a place of self-respect and emotional maturity, it shifts everything. You stop being the man chasing and start being the man worth returning to. In the midst of heartbreak, it's easy to believe that love means giving. Everything you have, your time, energy, attention, even your identity. You might find yourself constantly available, saying yes to things you don't agree with, or walking on eggshells just to avoid conflict. At first, it might seem like you're being caring and supportive, but what you're really doing is erasing your boundaries. And without boundaries, there can be no real respect. It's a common mistake, confusing love with self-sacrifice. But here's the truth. If you have to abandon yourself to keep someone else, you're not in a healthy relationship. You're in a power imbalance. When you make her happiness your sole responsibility, when you revolve your entire world around her, you give away your control. And the moment someone senses that you have no boundaries, they begin to lose respect, even if they don't realize it consciously. Not because they're cruel or ungrateful, but because human nature instinctively moves away from what feels too easy or too submissive. Setting boundaries doesn't mean being rude, harsh, or cutting her off. It means having a clear sense of who you are and what you stand for. It means saying, I won't tolerate being disrespected, not to punish her, but because you value yourself. It means not always being available at her convenience, especially if it's at the expense of your well-being. People are naturally drawn to those who respect themselves because it communicates strength and emotional maturity. When you start enforcing your boundaries, it creates a new kind of dynamic, one rooted in mutual respect rather than fear or dependency. She sees you differently. And more importantly, you see yourself differently. That's when real change begins. That's when relationships become balanced, honest, and truly fulfilling. It's late at night and your mind won't stop. You keep replaying old conversations, scrolling through pictures, reading old texts, trying to decode what went wrong. You think if you can just figure it out, if you can just understand that one moment, that one shift, maybe you can fix it. This is what obsessive thinking looks like, and it feels like a trap you can't escape. But what you don't realize is that you're not addicted to her. You're addicted to the idea of her, to the version of the relationship you're holding on to in your head, even if that version no longer exists in reality. Obsessive thinking creates a dangerous illusion. It makes you believe that if you think hard enough, you'll find clarity. But in truth, the more you think, the deeper you fall into confusion. You start second-guessing everything. What you said, what she meant, what could have been done differently. This mental loop doesn't bring peace. It only feeds self-doubt. It takes you further away from yourself and keeps your emotional energy tied to someone who isn't even present. The way out is to break the loop. And that means redirecting your attention, not toward her, but toward your future. You have to interrupt the cycle by shifting focus from what you've lost to what you still have the power to create. Start small. Pick up a book, go for a workout, call a friend, try something new. Do anything that reminds you that life continues, that you're still here, still capable, still growing. You don't need to have all the answers about the past. What matters is what you do next. The more energy you invest in rebuilding yourself, the less power that obsession will have over you. Eventually, the noise quiets, and clarity follows. By now, you've probably started to realize that this journey isn't about her. It's about you. The real work, the real transformation begins the moment you stop chasing and start rebuilding. And not just rebuilding to get her attention again, but rebuilding for you. When a relationship ends or begins to fade, it often leaves a gap, not just in your daily routine, but in your sense of self. That's why the path forward is not about waiting for her to come back. It's about becoming someone you're proud of, someone who stands tall with or without her. Start with your physical health. Go to the gym, move your body, release the tension and emotional weight you've been carrying. Strengthen yourself not just to look better, but to feel better. Your body and your mind are connected, and when you push yourself physically, your confidence follows. Next, focus on your purpose. Whether it's your career, your education, or a personal passion, now is the time to go all in. Nothing is more attractive than a man who knows what he wants and goes after it relentlessly. Reinvest in your relationships with family and friends, the ones who remind you of your worth. Surround yourself with people who uplift you and hold you accountable. Fill your time with meaningful conversations, laughter, and new experiences. And most importantly, reconnect with yourself. Ask yourself what excites you, what makes you feel alive, what kind of life you want to live regardless of who's beside you. Because when you stop making her the goal and start making your growth the priority, you shift the dynamic completely. You stop chasing love and start embodying it. That's when people notice. That's when respect returns. And that's when, whether she comes back or not, you've already won.